If you are the person who left the today's work for tomorrow and live with a stubborn idea that you will always have tomorrow, then you really need to read this book, Die Empty by Tod Henry. If you are looking for the tool which can transform your inner psychology so that you stop putting your best work for tomorrow, then this video is for you. Otherwise, you can skip and watch something else. Because in this book, Tod Henry explains the forces that keep people in stagnation and introduces a 3-part process for tapping into your passion. Excavate, cultivate, and resonate so that you can turn your passion into practice and finally you get the work done. So let's start with a condensed version of Dying Empty. If you have not already, then subscribe to Reading Leaf to elevate your reading. Here we don't provide summaries but the entire book in its condensed form, so you don't miss out on anything. Let's start. Title of the book Dying Empty is no doubt very attractive, but at the same time it can deceive you with all the wrong ideas. I believe it would be better if we first understand what dying empty does not mean. This phrase, die empty, could be easily misunderstood, but let me clarify. This does not mean ignoring all areas of your life and spending every ounce of yourself on your career. It's not about checking off tasks on your task list. It's not about following your whim, living like there is no tomorrow. You have a responsibility to leverage your passions, skills, and experience to make a contribution to the world. You also need to make sure that you are delivering on your expectations and honoring the people who are paying you to produce results. But it's surely not about getting everything done today. Then what actually dying empty means? Let's understand this. Our world is full of uncertainties, but death is the only certain thing we know. Whether you are aware of this fact or not, you are mortal and your days are numbered, finite. Some days they will run out. But most of us live with the illusion that we will always have tomorrow to do today's work. It's a lie. We need to live with a sense of urgency about the work we do today. You have a contribution to make. It's a truth. You possess a one kind of combination of passions, skills, and experiences. There is something you bring to your work that no one else could, and no one else can make a contribution for you. Though doing your great work and following what you feel is needed to be done in this world is not always easy. You might also face resistance from your peers, but the key here is they can't see what you can see. It's your job to nurture and manifest your vision. It's your vision, not theirs. It's okay if no one supports or everyone resists. But what's more important is, do you allow yourself to see and hold that idea on the screen of your mind long enough and actually work toward it? Here is the gold nugget from author. Greatness emerges when you consistently choose to do what's right, even when it is uncomfortable. Take a stand and don't shape-shift often. If you align your work around your values, you will be better positioned to make a contribution. The cost of inaction is vast. Don't go to your grave with your best work inside you. Choose to die empty. Let's learn the first principle. I will say the foundation of the entire book of Dying Empty, and it is pretty simple. Your body of work should reflect what is important to you. Let me offer you some amazing insights of Steve Jobs. He said, remembering that I will be dead soon is the most important tool I have ever encountered to help me make the big choices in my life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fell away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked, and there is no reason not to follow your heart. See, engaging in deeply gratifying work does not require you to check out of life, pack your bags, and head off on pilgrimage to India. It simply requires consistent, focused efforts to cultivate your instinct and skills and make measured progress on your goals. Brilliant work is forged by those who consistently approach their days with urgency and diligence. Urgency means leveraging your finite resources like focus, assets, time, and energy in a meaningful and productive way. And diligence means sharpening your skills and conducting your work in a manner that you won't regret later. When you adopt the mindset of urgent diligence, you will pour all of who you are into your days, and subsequently, you will find that the unique value you bring to the world comes more clearly into focus. According to Tod Henry, our work can be divided into 3 different forms: mapping, making, and mashing. Mapping is the work you do before the work. It's planning, plotting your objective, and setting your priorities. Next is making. It's doing the work, creating values, executing tasks, making sales call, writing, designing, etc. Whatever you are actively involved in doing. The final kind of work is mashing. This is the work between the work that actually makes you effective, like developing new skills, reinforcing your knowledge, cultivating curiosity, better understanding of your work and your behavior with your team. You don't get paid for it and it does not show any direct result, but it is the most important determinant of long-term success and getting the best work out of yourself and your team. You need to be purposeful about engaging in all three types of work. This won't happen by default. You have to make effort and it will only happen by your choice. All of us have a tendency to gravitate toward one of the three kinds of work at the expense of the others. And while the negative effects of neglect may not be evident in the short term, but they can be disastrous in the long term. Depending on with how much discipline you are engaging in three types of work, there are four profiles you can fall into. The first category is developer. Someone who do mapping plus making plus mashing is a developer. The developer is constantly weaving together available resources and opportunities to create value. You also know that opportunities are valuable only if he is prepared to take advantage of them. And as such, he is constantly developing the skills that will be needed when he gets where he wants to go rather than where he is currently. Someone who do making plus mashing but not mapping is a drifter. The drifter greatly enjoys the process of making and loves to develop his skills and engage his curiosity but is a poor planner. As a result, he frequently bounces from project to project and goes wherever his latest whim carries him. Then the third category is driver. Someone who do mapping plus making but not mashing is a driver. The driver is extremely focused on results and spends most of his time planning and checking tasks off list. He is obsessed with today's result but does little to increase his platform for future. And the final combination is dreamer. Someone who do mashing plus mapping but lack the making part. He is obsessed with ideas and personal growth and strategic plan but lacks the conviction, courage or work ethic to put his plan in motion. I want you to give it a thought. Which category do you believe you are right now? I personally used to be in a dreamer category who can be effective when he wants but quickly loses interest and rarely finishes much of what he starts because there is always next great thing waiting for me. If you want to die empty of regrets with a body of work you can be proud of, you must focus on becoming a developer. Here is $1 million question for you. After all of this personal development stuff outside and more motivational speaker than ever was in the history of humanity, why people still settle for mediocrity? Why people don't produce great results when they have all the intuition for doing the best work? I remember when I was in my first job, I knew all the great stuff about responsibility and creating great results. I've read a lot of books on my personal productivity and greater results, but I still found myself focusing on just getting the job done instead of doing it with sophistication and uttermost attention. Why is that we humans fall into this category, though we don't want to be? Here is a gold nugget from author. Mediocrity doesn't just happen suddenly. It develops slowly over time. When we start a career or an exciting project, everything is new. We throw ourselves into the work with a full vigor because we know that we need to prove our worth to a manager or clients in some way. It's like a new dating relationship. We put our best foot forward because we want to win the respect and approval of our potential partner. However, over time, familiarity sets in and some of the aspects that once seemed new and exciting become predictable and mundane. The task we perform no longer stretches us, and some of them we can even do on autopilot. We have lost the thrill of the challenge. There are many people who are highly successful in whatever they do, but they still don't get the same level of satisfaction as they did once. They make progress and keep climbing the ladder of success, but don't feel like important progress. Author called this as a downside of success. Then author shared the concept of satisficing. It's a combination of words satisfy and sufficing and means selecting an option that is sufficient to meet enough of our ongoing current expectations. When you satisfice, the work that you secretly aspire to do remains inside you. It clogs up the inner workings of a creative process and cause you to stagnate. You may even begin to lose your compass and overall sense of motivation. And when you started getting success in a particular field, it's very same dynamic to fall prey of doing work that other admires, but that you know deep down isn't your best. I want you to give extra attention to this part. No one chart a course for mediocrity, yet it is still a destination of choice. It's chosen in small ways over time, and those tiny, seemingly inconsequential decisions accumulate until they result in a state of crisis. By that point, making a change often feels overwhelming. I want you to understand what mediocrity trap actually is. Mediocrity does not mean doing poor work or failing to achieve success in your career. You can appear very successful to others, but you know deep down that you are not putting your best effort. At the same time, you might seem outwardly unimpressive to others, yet be maximizing your abilities. Mediocrity comes from the Latin word medius, which means middle, and ocris. Literally translated, it means to settle halfway to the summit of a difficult mountain. It's a compromise of abilities and potential, a negotiation between the drive to excel and the biological urge to settle for the more comfortable option. When people begin to experience the lull of mediocrity, they often question whether they are in the right job or not. They may even act on that impulse, hopping to another job or company, and subsequently find that everything is better for a while. In many of these situations, the job hopper is right back in crisis within the matter of months. It's not there is anything wrong with their new job. It is because they changed their external situation without changing their mindset and methods. They were trying to solve an internal problem by changing their external circumstances. It's a good intention, but a hopeless method. This will require you to step back from your work frequently to examine not just what you are doing, but how and why you are doing it. Even if you have heard of some of these practices I'm discussing here before, don't allow that to dissuade you from implementing them. It is the action that creates impact, not the knowledge alone. Remember, there are 3 kinds of work that you must be persistently engaged in to be effective: mapping, making, and meshing. Then few people ask why mediocrity is a problem even. What is wrong with settling with your self-created boundaries? Author shares the mediocrity comes with 7 deadly sins. Yes, deadly sins. First one is aimlessness. It's a destructive force because it removes both the joy of success and the gratification that comes from hard and focused work. Second, boredom. Boredom is often a sign that you are poised for a breakthrough in your work. It means your mind has grown weary of the rut you are in and ready to jump the tracks and try something new. Third is comfort. Author says the love of comfort is frequently the enemy of greatness in life and your work too. When comfort becomes the goal of the life, we cannibalize future progress for the sake of temporary stability. Delusion. To add the value you are capable of adding, you must need to cultivate self-awareness. You must have an accurate sense of your skills, your weaknesses, and your strength with your core drivers. Ego. People having big ego ended up being inflexible and unwilling to adapt or learn. Your ego is your number one enemy on the path to progress. Next is fear. Fear thrives on the unknown. Its paralyzing effects are often rooted more in imagination than the reality. And the last one is guardedness. Great work happens most consistently in the context of community. We are co-dependent on other human beings. So, add values, take services, and share our gifts to them. But when you isolate yourself from other people, you cut yourself off from some of the most valuable opportunities to grow and collaborate. You must be conscious and keep checking, because just knowing these 7 deadly sins of mediocrity won't do any better to you. You must be on the lookout for 7 deadly sins of mediocrity and eliminate them from your life whenever you can. The best defense is almost always is at a ready offense. Let's discuss the next part of the book, which is define your battles. The sure path to the developer in your life, not drifter or dreamer, is simply this: define your battles wisely and build your life around winning them. I want you to understand this. There are no good or bad habits. Few habits take you closer to your goals. Others push you away from them. You cannot be reliable on just willpower. You need to arrange your life in a way that supports you in winning your battles with minimum resistance and choices to make. If you want to integrate your life with kind of habits which can take you closer to your dream life, I highly recommend you read the books Atomic Habit by James Clear. This is one of the best books I have found on creating new habits and making them the part of your life. To define your battle, the author shares a few amazing ideas that will surely help you. First and the foremost is to define your through line. Your through line is the theme of your life and work. It's the change that you wish to see in the world. It could be the education system, ethical business, food, energy, or anything which you wish and feel needed to be fixed or get better. If you want to lay your head down each night satisfied with how you spend your day, it is important that you draw the right battle lines and stand on principles in how you engage your work. You must have a clear understanding of what is important to you and refuse to compromise in those places that require swift and immediate action. I always say passion has become one of the most corrupted words of our time. We misuse the word passion to describe anything in which we are remotely interested. But the reality is, passion has its root in the Latin word pati, which means to suffer or endure. Instead of asking what would bring me enjoyment, we should ask what work am I willing to suffer for today. Great work requires suffering for something beyond yourself. It's created when you bend your life around a mission and spend yourself on something you deem worthy of your best effort. And my personal experience has taught me, when you will find your real passion, when you find the work you are ready to suffer, there will be pain, but no suffering for sure. You will surely lay your head down each night, satisfied with the work you will do. You can easily observe this around you that most of us never taken the time to consider what I really care about and how it will find form in my work. This is such an amazing question. Simple but not easy and can bring massive clarity in your life. What will you stand for today? What will you refuse to compromise on no matter what? What will define your terms of engagement? Focus is not just doing one thing over time, but also saying to no all other shiny objects. You have to choose your battle carefully. Constantly ask yourself, what will I stand for today, which means something for me in the longer run? What will you refuse to compromise on? Here is another gold nugget from author. To prevent boredom from dulling your senses, you must approach your work with the curiosity of a kid. Do you remember as a kid how happy, joyful and curious you were? I have a question here. Why it is important to keep the fire of curiosity on? And why it is even dead in most of us? And the answer is, as we grow up, we keep getting ready-made answers and people abandon us from asking few questions. And as we started working, it seems to be foolish for people to not knowing the answers. So it's easy to choose, just suppress your curiosity. Most of the professionals outside do a lot of work and meet their expectations. But if you looked under the hood, you had seen that they are bored. They no longer find their work stimulating. They are not stretching their mind. They are not acknowledging their deeper questions. We are mortals. Our days are finite. We do not have unlimited span of time. So you cannot just wait around for inspiration to strike. You have to cultivate your curiosity by asking probing questions and mining your environment. Obviously, it won't happen by itself. You need to have a system to support your curiosity in your life, which means setting aside time and giving yourself mission to stoke the fire of your curiosity in a way that doesn't interfere with your more urgent work. So, what kind of system can you build? Or what could you do to stoke this curiosity in you? There are many ways to do this, but one possible way is keep a list of questions. Pay attention to all those moments when you suddenly lighten up and wanted to know more about. These questions will create the fertile soil in which your best ideas and ultimately your best work will grow. Well, the next step for this process will be dedicate time to pursue your questions. Set aside time on regular basis to immerse yourself in books, documentaries, magazines, films and other sources that stoke the fire of your curiosity. And make sure you prototype relentlessly. To prototype means to build a model, sketch an idea or otherwise play with concepts in a way that allow for a rapid iteration. You transform something that is just an idea into something that can be toyed with, tweaked and improved. You can play with that. It is moving the ball forward, achieving some part of your goal. Doesn't matter how small part it is. And the last but most important and my favorite one is find your bliss station. I'm telling you, I've personally realized just this one idea, if implemented, can alter the quality of your work by at least 10x or more. Find your bliss station or find your sacred space. This is where you do your life's work. No one else is allowed in there while you are working, and you give yourself long hours to just think and create. This is the place where you can simply experience and bring forth what you are and what you might be. This is the place of creative incubation. See, most people get bored in their work and fail to engage with their full curiosity because they are overwhelmed by the uncertainties and options they have. Let's come to the next step for dying empty, and which is step out of your comfort zone and follow your vocation. The lust for comfort murders the passion of the soul. Author shares, to make a valuable contribution, you have to get uncomfortable and embrace lifelong growth and skill development. If you don't have infrastructure that challenges you to grow, high possibility is you will end up doing whatever feels best at that moment. That could be surfing the web when you should be mapping, watching a TV when you should be making, or just playing computer games when you should be meshing. This is because a reptile brain is hardwired to stay in our comfort zone and security of known. At some time, you have probably been asked by someone or maybe by yourself that, what could you do if today were your last day on earth? Well, I never really liked this question because it removes any sense of responsibility or commitment to others from the equation. See, if I know it's my last day on earth, I'm going to give away all of my money, jump out of an airplane and eat the most delicious imaginable food, regardless of the fact that that could be very unhealthy. You can change the scenario by asking a different question. I invite you to change the scenario by asking a different question. Imagine you will have a guest accompanying you throughout your day tomorrow. He will follow you around from the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep. He will make notes on how you interact with your family and friends, how you engage in your tasks and projects, and your mindset through it all. Let's say later this person will process his observation and make conclusions and then will compile into a book as a permanent testament of your life. Now, how would you act in such a situation? I know you will be doing much different because knowing your actions are being recorded causes us to go beyond your comfort zone and do what you know to be right, then what feels right in that moment. Here is a wisdom nugget from author. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of intentional effort and consistent progress. You must define how you want to grow, then establish a plan to help you get there. Author says there are 3 kinds of goal that help you grow. 1, step, 2, sprint, and 3rd, stretch. Deciding what you will do today, no matter what the surrounding will be, is your step goal. Your sprint goal is a series of step goals that extended over a season. You sprint for a week or 2, then you take a break, then you sprint again, and then you take a break, and then you sprint, and so on. This will stretch your endurance and generate significant momentum on your stretch goal. Then your stretch goal, it's a major feat. It's something that will challenge you to grow. Make sure your stretch goal is something you can measure and control and make a plan to achieve it. Just having an intention may not help you with this. Author went ahead and suggests, make a list of at least 5 people you admire. Are there any qualities which they have that intimidate you? Make a list of these qualities and consider any overlap between them. I'm sure you will start noticing some patterns. And resonating with these people or their message is a valuable clue on the path to performing your best, most unique work. Read biographies of such people, understand and learn their strategies. How did they perform in particular situations? And think about how can you apply what you have learned from the lives of your heroes to your own work. Next big principle author share is self-awareness. Knowing yourself will help you counter self-delusion and pursue the unique contribution you alone are capable of making. See, there are various methods available to know yourself better. Disc analysis is one of them I have found best so far. This can help you not just understanding yourself better, but you knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. It can help you understanding how do you behave in particular situations, like how do you behave in pressure, or when situations are stressful for you, or when you are just normal. How do you perceive yourself and how others perceive you, and what affect your decisions and your choices. I highly recommend this one to you. We also provide this service including one-to-one session for a very reasonable price. You can contact us for the same by dropping me an email. Okay, so second option is a very simple method you could follow is do a SWOT analysis for yourself. You can easily find videos on SWOT analysis. You can watch one for how to do it for yourself, or I might come up with one such video. Once you have better awareness of yourself, then the next step is finding your voice. Find your voice and conquer the fear of failure by taking small, calculated risks each day. If you analyze how you spend your time on a daily basis, you will have significant clarity of your life's direction. How much time do you spend doing your true work that really add values? And how much time do you spend doing the things which doesn't add any values to your future self? The work that you alone are capable of doing is your voice. I want you to understand this more deeply. No one is sitting up there in the sky and writing purpose or passion for us. Your voice is a unique combination of passions, skills, and experiences with which you alone are capable of approaching your work. Follow your voice, take consistent small steps, and you will notice sooner or later clouds will be clear and you will be able to see the clear sky. You will have the clarity to see better. Most people learn to ignore their little voice or get settled for instant gratification. And sometimes when they are able to hear it, they just suppress it, believing there is no other way, or it seems practically impossible to change the course of their life and take new decisions. So what I'm suggesting you here is this: plan for experimentation. Open your eyes and take those small steps which your intuition is asking you to do. Pay close attention to those moments of inspiration and follow them, at least mentally, where they lead. Lot of us never take action because the first few steps either do not seem clear or seem very obvious that we believe they are not worth trying. You do not need to see the entire picture, okay? Just bring the small momentum. Ideas that seem obvious to you may be incredibly profound to others. The last but one of the pillar of dying empty is stay connected. Establish genuine connection with others. We are not wired for isolation. From the earliest moment of our lives, we grow, learn, and come to understand our place in the world through our interaction with others. We need other people to help us stay aligned and to bring out the best in us. There are two strategies that can help you being connected. These are find mirrors and use probing conversation. Before understanding these strategies, let's first agree that relationships are tricky because they involve diverse interests, objectives, and personalities, and there are no surefire ways to ensure relational success because you are always at the mercy of these unknown factors. But if you start approaching people with "what can I offer" mindset, the equation might change. The situation around you may become more helpful to you. Let's discuss the finding the mirror strategy. Just as the mirror allows you to see your true appearance, other people in your life can serve to help you see beyond your assumptions and blind spots. Though these kind of relationships are not easy to cultivate because you must find people you trust and respect and who you know will speak out of a genuine concerns for your best interest rather than as a way to influence you toward their own interest. However, if you can identify a few people to play this role for you, it can provide you a tremendous amount of confidence because you know that others are watching out for you. Get together with your mirrors, have conversations about how you are doing, what challenges are you facing, what your next move, and what you had liked them to be watching for you. Most important part of this strategy is be ruthlessly honest with them. Speak your mind out with clarity and honesty. That's what is your current situation. Otherwise, this practice will fall apart. Remember, something that seems obvious to you might be profound for others. Having a mirror in your life can help you own your intuition and keep your focus, time, and energy in the right place. Second, use probing conversations, which means not just speaking on surface, but going beyond and finding the root cause. Speaking with clarity and knowing what exactly the expectations are in any particular situation. Uncover the deep down reasons of any kind of dissonance and fear among the people around you and the people in your team. Author suggests that we need to have 5 kinds of conversation with the people around us so that we both are mutually benefit. Number 1, the clarity conversation. See, lack of clarity can put break in any kind of progress for success. Clarity is critical to creating a healthy team, and it's essential to doing your best work each day. Second, the expectation conversation. When others fall short of our unspoken expectations, it takes us on the way to an unhealthy relationships. Or we can similarly fail to meet the unspoken expectations of others. The goal is to bring expectations into alignment and ensure that everyone is focusing their energy in the most productive place, which is work itself. Third is the fear conversations. This is most nebulous of the conversation and is one of the more difficult to get people to open up to. But it can be one of the most powerful if we have the guts to engage in it. The fear conversation is all about shining light into unspoken places and neutralizing fear where it lives. Believe me or not, either you will speak up your fears and let them fade away forever, or they will make your abilities to act fade. Fourth is the engagement conversation. This conversation is about helping you identify patterns of energy and enthusiasm in others and tap into the deep well of inspiration around you. For this, you can ask questions like, what is inspiring you? How do you feel about the work we are doing? What is the best thing we are doing and why? Such conversation will fuel your inspiration and fill your belly with juice of joy. And every time when you engage in such conversation, you will see the people around you will be more empowered and wanted to do more of their best work as well. Fifth one is the final 10% conversation. This one is the most important and least recognizable. In any conversation, there is always a final remnant, a final 10% that is left unsaid. And people often walk away having said most, though not all of what they should said or they wish they had said. These final 10% do not remain unspoken. They often get shared in secret rooms and do damage to relationship when they turn critical or turn into gossips. James Oppenheimer once said, "The foolish man seeks happiness in the distance. The wise grow it under his feet." We are here for a very small period of time. This is our time on the planet. We have taken the torch from our previous generation and we will pass it to our next generation. We all are morally obliged to light this torch as brightly as possible before it is handed to the next generation. Author shares a wisdom nugget in the form of acronym EMPTY. To live the dying empty, you need to focus on living empty. Here E represents ethics. Focus on your ethics, live up to your values and create what you believe is worth creating. Do what you feel is most important and invest your life with full-fledged. M represent mission. Focus on your mission. Keep reminding yourself, invest your time, energy and money to build necessary skills for your mission. T represent tasks. It's very easy to delude yourself with daydreaming. Create a system that can help you in focusing your daily task so that you achieve your long-term goal, making your short-term task as a foundation for that. And the last one, but my personal favorite area of focus is you. Focus on building yourself. In daily's busy schedule, it's very easy to lose track of yourself and you can easily get caught up in the living to your to-do list only and managing your relationship with others on the cost of your future ineffectiveness. Take care of your health, join some yoga program, learn skills, spend time in nature, pursue your creativity and curiosity, define your battles, and then build your life on the foundation of winning them. I believe this video must have added massive value to your life. I'm genuinely interested in knowing what is your best work. What do you want to live for before you die? Please share in the comment box. Define your own success and don't let others question the process. Embrace the process and do your best work. If this video resonates with your mindset, then please like and share with others so that the world knows what you are up to and what to expect from you. Subscribe to Reading Leaf for more such mindful content. And if you're confused on how to find your calling, I'm going to make another video on finding your Ikigai. So hang on and subscribe. I will bring more such awesome content to you. Thank you.